personally for me, I felt like it's hindered my magic a little bit. I feel like that separates a beginner to an intermediate/professional and a master at his craft magician. You guys wouldn't have known that I'd gone wrong unless I actually told you. Right. Okay. Are we live? We are live right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Ricky2ra Podcast episode. Yes, that is right. Episode 70. And your boys nearly done 10 episodes, I believe. No, we have done 10. I think we started at episode 60, right? And if you can hear anything, I just want to make this clear, guys. If you can hear anything in the background right now, it is very, very windy outside today. And the shutters are kind of shaking at the front of the shop because it is that windy. So I apologise if there's any background audio noise to this podcast episode. It is something that hopefully is not going to be as distracting as this, as I'm talking throughout this episode. However, if it is, I apologise for this episode. Hopefully it will stop later on, and we'll be back in business for the next few episodes if it isn't windy then. But I hope you guys are keeping well. I hope you guys are keeping safe. Guys, I'm going to speak some truth and honesty in this 70th episode. So let's just jump straight into it, shall we? And the reason why I titled this episode, "The One Thing I Struggle At When Doing Magic," is because I wanted to open up to all you people that are listening and watching this. Yes, that's right, you. Because everybody goes through this, whether you're a performer, a businessman, musician, etc. I feel like this one thing applies to everybody, and I've been through it, and it's something that I currently go through, a kick in the arse, and then it happens again. And that is dealing with failure. I touched on this at the end of the last episode, the truth about being a magician, and I felt like I needed to go in depth in this 70th episode because I told a story, and if you guys haven't checked out the truth of being a magician, it was a really good podcast episode that I did for you guys last week, so please check that out. The reason why I wanted to go in depth in this is because it's something that everybody goes through, but personally for me, I felt like it's hindered my magic a little bit, and I'm starting to see the light again through it. And the reason why is because I don't want to fail. That's basically the whole part of the chunk of this episode is I don't want to fail. And I've talked a lot previously, even going back to the earlier episodes of this, I've talked about how you've got to fail in order to progress. And I feel like I talk about this stuff and I do it. I don't love to fail. That's the reason why I'm doing this episode. I don't want to fail. I want everything to be perfect. I'm kind of a perfectionist myself, whether that's videos, magic, etc. But in order to progress, you've got to fail. And that's what I've talked about. And the reason why you've got to fail is because that's where you learn from your mistakes. And if you learn from your mistakes, you progress. If you keep failing, then it becomes more than a mistake. It becomes something that you do on purpose. Now, the reason why I'm saying this with my magic is because I've done so many magic effects that I've practiced that I've never performed, ever. And I feel like if you're a magician listening to this or watching this, you kind of know where I'm relating from here. You can be in your bedroom practicing this certain magic effect for, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, a whole year, if you like that. And you never perform it because when you get to that moment of time where you want to perform for somebody, whether that be just in public, family, friends, or perhaps at a paid event, you don't want to fail. You don't want to make yourself look stupid. And I feel it's the pressure you put on yourself, especially with me, the pressure that I put on myself is that you don't want to get anything wrong. And that's the thing with me sometimes at gigs as well. I want to just show what I know instead of showing something new, and I feel like that hinders what I do. So performing new effects and not wanting to fail is something that I've been through, that I currently go through, and something that I wish to improve on. Also, the shutter's good. I tell you what, it is windy out there today, man. Really windy. Also, when performing a new effect, it takes you back to day one, where it's kind of your first magic trick over and over again, where you kind of like, is this going to work? But you kind of get that adrenaline rush, and when you go through it, and when you progress, and when it's successful, you kind of get that high of like, wow, it's worked, it's, I can do this again. But that only happens if you actually perform it. And I've done so many magic effects wrong, and I'm going to give you an example now. I was in London about 2-3 weeks ago, and I was just performing at a family function, just randomly. I had my cards on me, and I was doing this magic effect that I've done, and I shit you not, over 100 times. Like, I could do it like with my eyes closed, I think. But yeah, at that certain level. And basically, I took the cards out. I got the 2 kings. I'm like, look, I'm not going to find your card. The 2 kings are going to find your cards. And really, I hovered the kings over the cards, and one card appeared in the middle of the kings. And in my mind, I was getting gassed. I was like, yeah, this is it. And then she took the card out, and she was like, no, that's not my card. And I went, oh shit. That's something that I don't like. However, I brought it back, and I feel like that separates a beginner to an intermediate / professional and a master at his craft, magician, expert, is knowing you've gone wrong, but not letting the spectator know that you've done it wrong. And that's something that I'm still trying to improve on. And I can do it, because I did do it in that example that I told you, because once it was the wrong card, I brought it back, and basically all I did was shake the card, and it turned into a card, and she was like, whoa. So you can bring it back. And the reason why I'm telling that story is it's a perfect example of this topic that I'm talking about right now. You guys wouldn't have known that had gone wrong unless I actually told you, right? That wasn't meant to happen. I could have told you the story like, oh, she took the kings out. The kings, I hovered it over, there was one card, and it wasn't her card, and I was like, oh, you know what, the kings can't do a better job than me, so I'll take it from here. And I shook the card, and it was her card. I could have totally just said that story and made myself look good, but that's not the point. The point is something that you failed at, but you kind of learned from it. And I've done magic wrong so many times that I kind of know from the effects that I know, I can just come back from it. It's just the new effects that sometimes I'm afraid of getting wrong and looking like a dumbass, which I say to myself all the time, and it's not really a big problem, because I should go out there and perform them more so I can get better at it, because the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And that's the whole key about this episode. You just don't want to fail, and you've got to I'm going to keep saying this throughout the whole episode, you've got to fail in order to progress. I should put that like as a quote, a Ricky2ra quote, even though it isn't even me that made that up. I know what I have to do, but sometimes I don't do it when performing. So this is going to sound a bit strange, because the magicians will totally get this, but the casuals won't. When I'm performing, I know my set list, right? So if I'm at a gig, I know my set, what I'm going to perform. And if there's something new that I want to perform, the audience won't know, only I'll know. But I feel like after I've done my warm-up set and I want to get into that, I know I should be doing my new one, but I kind of default back to my regular set, what normally goes after, and I try and sandwich it in, so I do my regular, the new, and then the regular, but sometimes I don't even do it, because I just feel like everything's going so well. But those are the times where everything goes so well that you should be doing the new stuff. And I've done it in the past, but when it comes to a new effect, I just get shy and I don't do it. Obviously, nobody at the event knows about this. It's just me playing little scenarios in my head. And that's something that I can improve on. That's why I said this is a very truthful episode. I am not an expert. I am just somebody that's progressing. I am basically someone that works in a shop, in a family business, and I'm a magician. All right, I am no professional yet, but I am just learning, like many of you out there are learning anything in their field or craft. Sometimes you feel like you're stuck in a rut. You feel like you can't get out. And I've been there. I've performed the same magic effects thousands of times now, to the point where I get bored. I kind of know. It numbs you. Do you know, like, let's say you take a load of free kicks on the football pitch. The first 100 times you're going to be gassed when it goes into the back of the net. But when you do it constantly, like David Beckham, you're numb to it. It's kind of like, yeah, well, it was supposed to go at the back of the net. Like, the curvature on the ball and everything to the audience is like, oh my God, how the hell did he do that? Like, curled it from there. But really, to David Beckham, it's like, well, I've done this a million times. It's nothing to me. It's going to curl anyway when I hit it. Even though that probably took like millions of practice to do. That's basically the same as a magician, performing the same effect over and over again. So it's basically that. You're so numb to it, and that's why you always want to keep refreshing your set, which I've done. And it's just a problem that I seem to have over and over again, that I will overcome like I have done in the past. But there are certain effects, and I'm not going to say them here on camera because it's kind of personal for me, but there are certain effects that I have not performed yet, which I have learned years ago. And I know magicians are in the same stage as me, that perhaps they've learned something and they don't really want to show it yet. But I've got a lot of effects that I've learned, and just it kind of drives you tiny bit crazy because you've put that many minutes and not minutes, you put that many hours and weeks and days into, the practice, and possibly if you script your magic, into the script as well. So it becomes a problem which you need to overcome, which I need to overcome. And I talked about this in my other episode. You got to practice and then you've got to perform. And I feel like a lot of magicians practice but they don't perform. I'm one of them sometimes. I really want to perform magic. Like, a goal of mine is to perform magic every day. I don't care who it is, and it scares me sometimes, but usually you got to do the stuff that scares you. And I should be doing it more, and I will be doing it more. However, you can't just keep practicing over and over and over again and not perform. That's a disrespect to the whole art of magic. You're disrespecting magicians as a whole if you're just practicing and you're not performing, because that's just one half of it. And if you really want to get into it, for all the magicians, you've got to research, practice and perform. You've got to research what you want to practice, and then you got to practice what you practice, and then you got to perform what you practice, if that makes sense. The thing with me is, it's kind of a stage, and I'm going to take you back to probably one of the first times I had gone up to a stranger and shown them magic. Because it happens in stages. I'm talking about the stage of actually just showing new effects and not wanting to fail. Let's say that's stage 5, okay? And after stage 5, you're fine, okay? I'm talking about stage 1 now. I'm going to take you back. So stage 1 is actually talking to a stranger, not even performing, just going up to a stranger going, hello, my name's so and so, and I would love to show you a magic trick. That, for me, I'm talking about 10 years, probably 11 years ago. And I remember because this was at my cousin's engagement party, and we're going to go into story time now. I was at my cousin's engagement party, and I was dying. You could tell I was dying to show someone some magic, and I was sat there with my cousin. I was like, who the hell am I going to show magic? Me sat in a function hall with loads of people in. I was like, so who am I going to show some magic? And my cousin was probably looking at me like, this idiot, like, there's loads of people here. You can literally ask somebody on the next table. Anyway, I ended up going to the catering people, the people that hand out the plates and stuff, because I thought, you know what, I might as well warm up with them. So I remember they were just doing the job, and I went up to, I think there were one young lad and one young girl, and I went up to them both and went, hey, I'm a magician, can I show you some magic? And I remember I told them to pick a card out, and I kind of made his appear, and then I told him to hold his card, and I clipped my fingers, his card turned into her card. They actually went a little bit crazy, not like too crazy, but because they were doing the job, but it was kind of like crazy to the point where it was like, oh shit, do you know what I mean? That's stage one. That build up for me, for actually going up to someone, was probably the most hardest thing I've ever done in my life at that point. Now I'm on stage 5, where it's like showing somebody a new effect is like one of the hardest things I've ever done, even though I've done it so many times. And I'm not even going to lie, sometimes it can be like going up to somebody and asking them, that kind of makes you nervous, but not as nervous as this stage that I'm on at the moment. I've wrote here, give examples of effects not performed. I'm not actually going to give the example of the effect I'm going to perform, because, like I said before, that's something personal to me. However, I've got a load of stories, and I've got one from last year at a particular event. And I remember I had all my effects set up, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to perform this effect. And I never did perform it, but it was ready, it was there. And it's kind of like one of them things where it's like, what if I had performed that? What kind of reactions would I have got? And it makes you think as a performer, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And it's basically that. And I'm not saying I'm crap, because I think I'm a pretty good magician. I'm not even going to lie. I'm just very honest and open about stuff that I get right, and also, most importantly, stuff that I get wrong. So this leads me into saying a question. How can I improve? This is kind of like a self-reflection / episode as well. How can I improve? Well, I put the hours in, practicing. So all I need to do to improve is actually perform to somebody. So if I was talking to myself right now, which I am, I would say, Ricky, all you need to do is just go up to any person, show them one thing that you already know, they'll be amazed, and then show them one more thing of like your new thing, okay? Show them your new thing. Whether that goes right, hooray, see where you can go and improve, or whether it goes wrong, move on to your next one, just blow them away with that. And then once you walk away, go back and see what went wrong and how you can improve. The advice is that simple, yet the execution is so hard at times. That's basically what I'd say to myself and to any other performer or magician out there. But it strives as a whole, and I'm going to bring in a shop story. Oh boy, your boy's gone to shopkeeper mode. This is a bonus shopkeeper story, guys. It's still on topic, and it's about failure. I have probably failed at serving a load of customers behind the till. If you're watching on YouTube, literally the till's right here, like behind the till. I've failed at adding something up on the till. I've failed at giving somebody the wrong change. 1,000,000 times, like legit 1,000,000 times, and I still do it. So that's basically what I need to do with magic. You see how shopkeeping and magic kind of go one-on-one with each other? I love it, man. That's why I love this so much, this little combination that we're doing right now. But anyway, guys, I'm going to flip the script now that I don't normally do. You know, this is episode 70, and I feel like, you know, I've talked about a load of things, and I feel like it's time to end the Ricky2ra podcast, and I will be leaving. No, I'm joking. Did I get you there? I nearly got you there. No, I'm going to flip the script and I'm going to ask you guys out there who's listening, whether the shop phone's ringing, don't mind that in the background. Everything's just going off today. But my question to you guys is, have you got any advice for me? Meaning, anything about the podcast, anything about what I've just said today about being afraid to fail, or anything. If you've got a question for me, that would be great. If you want to DM me directly, or if you want to leave it down in the YouTube comments below, that would be much appreciated. I thought, you know what, this is the 70th episode. We've gone 10 episodes deep in a row, so I appreciate every single one of you for watching, really. And I believe this is going to be my outro, guys, because we've hit 20 minutes into this episode, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. This episode was slightly different. I opened up on something personal for me about not being afraid to fail, but coming back at the same time. Like, I know what I need to do to come back from it. And if you guys are any in the same position, you know, let's talk it out. Let's create like some sort of community where we can talk to each other in the comments, or if you want to just DM me directly. But yeah, this has been your boy Ricky2ra, and you know what? We're 30 episodes away from episode 100, guys. We just need to do this 10 times 3, and we're there. Guys, this has been your boy Ricky2ra. Peace, stay strong, and remember, always follow your dreams.